10 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have Djibouti honors the birth of the Prophet with the fervors and friendliness. Explosions in residential building linked the gang warforce in Sweden. Welcome to our newsroom. The Ministry of Muslim Affairs commemorated the Prophet's Mawlid at the People's Palace under the patronage of the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Momin Hassan Barre. A solemn ceremony to commemorate the birth of the Prophet, peace be and blessings of Allah be upon him, took place at the People's Palace. The event was attended by the Executive Secretary of the High Islamic Council, Sheikh Okiya Qawrah Fatah, accompanied by ministry officials and distinguished religious scholars, ulemas, and preachers, as well as invited guests. The birth of the Prophet is a tradition deeply rooted in the cultures of Islamic countries, celebrating the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, considered the last messengers of God. This celebration is of particular importance, being both a major religious event and occasions for spiritual reflections and inspirations. The age-old traditions of the birth of the Prophet, handed down from generation to generations, carries with it the teachings and the Prophet and the light of his magnificent life, embodying the principles of unity, solidarity, and harmony that lie at the heart of Islamic.
يا حبيبي يا محمد يا عروس الغفقين يا مؤايا يا ممجا يا إمام القبلتين يا النبي سلام عليك يا الرسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك
نبقينا وحا صلى الله عليه وسلم.
In his speech, the Minister of Muslim Affairs, Momin Hassan Barre, underlining the importance of this occasion, is highlighting its spiritual inspirations and its role in promoting love, understandings, and solidarity within Islamic society. He recalled that Prophet Muhammad, peace be and blessings of Allah be upon him, was a model of virtues, compassion, and moderation. His teachings embrace the fundamental values of Islam, such as benevolence, tolerance, and peace. The minister also highlighted the essential role of ulemas, preachers, and imams in promoting tolerance, the pace of the golden means, al-wasatiyah, and in preventing any excess or fanaticism. He stressed the importance of following the values of Islam, notably fraternity, social cohesion, and concord, and encouraged ulema and imams to integrate them into their speeches and teaching. Like the capital, a wave of pity swept through the interior regions for these celebrations of the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Religious festivities echoed across Djibouti's varied landscapes and uniting the inhabitants of the interior regions in a common devotion to this sacred event. In Obok, in the presence of the Obok prefect and the president of the regional councils, these celebrations began with the readings of the verse from the Holy Quran, followed by songs of praises to the Prophet Muhammad and the recitations of poems. Residents gathered in the streets and mosques to share meals and recitations of the Quran. In Ali Sabih, an atmosphere of religious celebration is pervaded the city's neighborhood. Nightly vigils were marked by exchanges of hadith and qasaid in honor of the Prophet. Residents expressed their gratitude to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by strengthening community ties and sharing moments of brotherhood. In the delegation is from the Ministry of Youth and Culture, to celebrate the religious feast of Mawlid al-Nabi, marking the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This religious fervor swept across the capital, the festivity taking place in Djibouti city and the three municipalities of Rastika, Bulaus, and Balbala, in addition to communal meals, evenings, vigils rich in hadith and qasaid. Religious songs were organized in the various districts of the capitals and the cities. In the interior regions, in Ali Sabih and Obok and Tajura, these podiums of the enlivening the ceremony with songs to praise the Prophet.
الحسين مرحبا مرحبا نبي مرحبا مرحبا نبي مرحبا صلى الله يا ابن عبد الله عليك صلى الله يا ابن عبد الله عليك صلى الله اللهم صل على وسلم وبارك.
A delegation from the Ministry of Youth and Cultures in Cairo has celebrated with songs and praises to the Prophet Muhammad, peace the others, to recite poems evoking the coming into the worlds of God's messengers. These celebrations was marked by a strong sense of solidarity and festival strengthening the bonds between the populations.
سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا حبيبي يا محمد يا عروس الغافقين يا مؤيد يا ممجد يا إمام القبلتين يا النبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك.
As we all know, the second day of the big event on the single windows was marked by significant and flourishing exchanges between the world-renowned experts and those from the host country, none others than the Republic of Djibouti, which is fighting hard to revolutionize the trades and promote economic growth through the single window system. At yesterday's closing ceremony, which remains a highlight of the conference, the participants discussed ways of improving cross-border trade in landlocked countries through intelligent corridors and the interoperability of a national single window system in Africa, with a view to setting up a regional single window borders. Reflections on economic growth examine the direct and indirect impact of single window systems. It became clear that these systems not only simplify formalities but also play a crucial role in stimulating economic activities, job creations, and GDP growth. On the sidelines of the ninth Single Windows Conference, an important ministerial sessions took place between the four countries with the IGAD and PAMESIA on the development of the Djibouti-Addis Ababa-Juba Kampala corridor. In attendance were Djibouti ministers His Excellency Hassan Hamad Ibrahim, Mr. Simon Jok Njaka of South Sudan, and Deng Boru Kosi of Ethiopia, Honorable Bayam Kama Fred of Uganda. The session was also attended by the chairman of the Ports and Free Zone Authority, Abubakar Omar Hadi, and IGAD Finance Directors Josephat Onyari and Colonel Andrew Sizo of the Port Management Associations of Eastern and Southern Africa. Joining the ministers in this discussion is the session is focused.
The region. It will ensure that transport is cheap. As you've heard the minister from Uganda, there are a lot of products that are coming from Uganda, and we want all these products to reach some of the member states here in the region. And as a result of that, this corridor will enable, indeed, people to move freely and ensure that the goods that are available in other countries and are not available in other countries are available. One thing as IGAD will ensure that we reach out to donors so that then they are able to actualize what the member states signed in the MOU, and they have reiterated that they have committed themselves to ensure that this particular MOU is actualized.
In their speeches, the ministers of IGAD countries underlined the major role these roads will play in facilitating trade between IGAD member countries. Listen to this detail.
And we need to support one another if our economy is there to grow. You have seen the cost of transportation of goods right up from Uganda through South Sudan, through Ethiopia to Djibouti. The cost has been so high. To an extent, those who want to do business, they operate at a loss. So what we have just said now, it's a memorandum of understanding that all of the countries, that is Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Djibouti, we have accepted to work together on that route, that corridor. The route starting from Kampala up to Djibouti.
Today is the agreement that we signed remarks the importance of infrastructure in realizing inter-African connectivity that connects Djibouti, Addis, Juba, Kampala. In fact, this project was initiated by IGAD, and the 4 member states signed the MOU in 2019. It is because of COVID and some other issues in between that it was lagged behind. It is very critical now to move forward. So we agreed as the member state that each country, each member of Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Uganda, and also IGAD as one of the coordinator of this project, will execute respective responsibilities.
In an interview with us, the Djibouti Ministers of Transport, Hassan Hamad Ibrahim, welcomed this promising initiative as a ray of hope for the Horn of Africa. He went on to emphasize the major role that the single window systems will play in facilitating trade between IGAD member countries and above all in boosting the existing economic dynamic between neighboring countries. He also reported on the ministerial sessions held on the sidelines of the summit, during which the ministerial delegation signed a memorandum of understanding concerning the Juba-Addis Ababa-Djibouti road construction project. This Juba-Djibouti road construction project will improve existing relations between IGAD member countries and consequently stimulate regional economic dynamics, he added. As part of the development of the new UNICEF programs of support for the period 2025-2029, an exchanges and interactions of workshop was held on Tuesday, September 26 at the Ministry of National Education, Vocational Training The workshop launched by the Secretary General of the MENFOP, Mohammed Abdallah Mahyouba, brought together senior MENFOP officials, UNICEF specialists, executives from the Ministry of Women and Family, and representatives of various entities involved within the education and development of adolescents. The workshop focused on two major themes of importance to adolescent education and development: access to quality learning opportunities and youth skills, participation and engagement. The aim of this workshop was to discuss and exchange in order to analyze the evidence of access, quality and equity in learning opportunities. Through this approach, MENFOP, in collaboration with UNICEF and other stakeholders, aims to identify needs and target areas for actions to eliminate inequalities in education. The Secretary General of MENFOP, Mohammed Abdallah Mahyouba, thanked the participants for attending the workshop and asked those responsible to actively contribute their thought to these workshops, the results of which will help optimize MENFOP's support program. The National Union of Djiboutian Women, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Livestock Fishery Resources, organized a training session on nutrition and female genital mutilation from September 24 to 29, 2023 in the northern regions. The session is kicked off in the region of Tajara, the capital of the same name. UNFD mobilized a large number of men and materials for the launch of the joint work plan for the PGIR and Brief Fund projects. The partnership agreement between the PGIRs and Brief Funds project cover work plans linked to the development of rural communities, and in particular the economic empowerment of rural women in several development programs. Both projects are part of a national and regional climate change adaptation strategy to improve the resilience of vulnerable communities in the countries of the Horn of Africa. In particular, they contribute to improving the living conditions of women and young people through the creation of income-generating activities, literacy courses, and awareness-raising campaigns on health, nutrition, and HIV/AIDS. In the conference room of Dakhel Regional Council, successfully concluded an essential training course held from September 23 to 24, 2023. The training focused on associative governance and local development project management and was aimed at leader of 5 associations in the Dakhel region. This workshop is organized as part of the implementation of the project to structure and strengthen the technical capacities of advocacy, communications, and partnership of Djiboutians in the sectoral team, water, sanitation, and food security, and carried out by the NGOs Consortium Spark, PLA, and these NGOs for the international scene. Sweden's explosions in resilience. Residential buildings linked to gang warfare. In Sweden, 2 residential buildings were hit by explosions in Linköping and Hässelby, injured several people. In Sweden, 2 residential buildings have been hit by explosions in recent hours. Local press reports suggest a settling of scores between rival criminal gang in Linköping. A woman was slightly injured, and residents of the affected area were evacuated to a sport complex. It is difficult for me to go into the details so earlier in our investigation, said Ann-Christine Renström, district police chief. But what I can say is that the criminal networks that exist on a national scale are not only to be found in the big cities, but also in the Linköping and other towns in Sweden. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.